we're going to be launching a very exciting new community project, and that is for the entire community to keep one Shabbos completely. The Shabbos project, keeping it together.
Yeah, when I first heard about the project, which was at Sinai and Darba, I thought, who's going to buy into it? You know, Shabbos is, it's like for the from yid, you know?
There were a lot of skeptics, you know, when we started to first talk about it. There were people who said, look, you know, this thing's just not going to work. How are people going to be keeping the whole of Shabbos if they've never kept it before?
There were a number of people who weren't so sure that they would want to keep Shabbos.
Yeah, it was a tall order that the rabbi was asking for. I want to run on Shabbos, I want to go to the cricket, I want to, like...
You know, I also thought if it doesn't work, and if, you know, 10 people keep Shabbos that have never kept Shabbos before, it will have been a success for us. We had no idea the potential and how people would really respond so incredibly to it.
The campaign started a little bit before Rosh Hashanah. It was in the schools and in the shuls, and then there came a moment where it seemed like everybody was doing it.
First of all, you must understand the advertising that was before the Shabbos project took over the city, and it was the kind of thing I would be in the shops, and the question you asked each other was, so what are you doing? You know, what's happening for you this Shabbos?
For me, it was wanting to do something more, wanting to not go shopping on a Saturday morning, wanting to spend more time with the family.
And I think that everyone cottoned on to the idea of, it's not such a bad idea, this is actually quite a great idea. You know what, let's do it.
There was a tipping point where now everybody was doing it.
The TV kept on telling me that I have to switch it on, but I didn't.
So this was actually the first time I've ever completely kept a Shabbos. So it was really quite amazing.
We've never like really kept Shabbos properly. It was actually quite nice. I didn't realize how easy it would be.
The streets were just filled with all different walks of Jews, but all walking. There were almost no cars.
My kids said to me, wow, I didn't realize that they were Jewish. I didn't know that that family actually are a Jewish family. It brought Jews out of the woodwork, and my kids were completely inspired.
So there was a mass movement. It was a people's experience. This was the Jewish Spring, where the whole campaign went viral and that people owned it. It took on a life of its own.
We wanted to be part of the Shabbos project, and because our family lived too far to walk to, we were going to be on our own. So I bumped into Kim and asked her where they were going to be, and she said that they would be home alone. And we chatted and we decided that we would do something together. By the time word got round, we had 16 families here.
Because we just got us together, us brought another 2 and another 4 and another 6.
So I think throughout the evening we must have had about 100 odd people through the garden.
There were so many families here, and it was just such a special night, and it was just a very special evening for all of us to be together and to celebrate Shabbos.
Clive Blechman just decided he wanted to invite his friends across for a Friday night dinner, for a Shabbos dinner in the street. So he invited a few immediate neighbors, and the next thing, this went viral. There were SMSs and was on Facebook. But by the time the Shabbos project arrived, there were more than 500 bookings for people to eat their Friday night Shabbos dinner out in the streets in the Oaklands area.
And then we had these tables set out in Park Street, and it was sublime. It was yids that you would think would never have come were there, and it was, if I may use the word stunning, it stunned me. Yeah, and that's when I realized the genius of what was being done. I think it was a great night.
You know, who could actually have dreamed and expected and predicted that the vast majority of the South African Jewish community of 75,000 Jews would actually keep one Shabbos together?
It was just so beautiful, the whole atmosphere. Oh, I get chills just thinking of it. When we actually came down to saying the benching after meals, there were families here that had never benched before. Had they ever benched before? And that was like, I think, the crux of the evening, that actually everyone remembered that moment. And we were so glad that we were part of that.
So people asked us, why the whole of Shabbos? Why not just a Friday night? Why should we do the whole of Shabbos? We just felt that people would respond to this incredible challenge of keeping Shabbos in its entirety.
What the Shabbos project showed is that everybody can do it. It's doable.
I'm Benita Levine, and yes, I survived my first full Shabbos, keeping Shabbos, and I did turn my phone off for the entire time.
It's fantastic to have a conversation with another human being where you really like connect and talk and actually finish a coherent.
Today was mine and his first Shabbos. It was so peaceful, so nice. First, not the last.
Hold on, just let me check this tweet. Yeah.
I've never really kept Shabbos in my life, but I committed myself and had a very, very spiritual, very quiet, very special weekend.
So what were we saying? Yeah.
And the amount of people who kept Shabbos for the first time in their life was mind-blowing. We have hairdressers complaining that they had no business. We have golf clubs saying that they were just empty. And on and on.
I think that the guidebook was actually a key part in this whole campaign. I asked Gina to write this guide on how to keep Shabbos because it made it doable. And I think that was such a key part where people responded, because all of a sudden something which is so special like keeping Shabbos felt like, well, it's an impossible dream, and it made that dream a reality.
It was really something that they could take and read and learn, and by learning how to keep Shabbos, everybody and anybody who wants to could very much make it their own.
Welcome to everybody. What an amazing, amazing sight to see. There are more than 300 tables.
The whole experience, the Shabbos project, was kicked off on Thursday night by the women of the community.
The idea of having the great street challah bake was that thousands of women, the women of Johannesburg, would come together on the streets of Glen Hazel. We would set up tables and chairs and make challah dough together as one on the streets of Glen Hazel. I mean, in the end, it was just incredible. It was just the most unforgettable experience. It really was.
Wow, I have no words. We women in Eretz Israel, we have something to learn from you. באמת. Wow.
There were over 2,000 women at the challah bake. Unbelievable. The vibe is something difficult to describe. There was this energy, this open-heartedness. It was just something like you've never experienced before.
And actually it captured the imagination of the world. I mean, when those first pictures went around on the internet, all just went viral, of these thousands of women in the streets preparing the challah dough together and saying the bracha together, and you know, the power of that experience, that just captured the world's imagination and was like the best way to kick off the entire Shabbos experience that people were going to have the next day. The beauty about the Shabbos project and the beauty about Shabbos in general is that it's for every Jew. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your level of observance is, what you normally do, what you don't normally do. It's for every single person. It doesn't matter what denomination you come from and whether a person's affiliated and who they're affiliated to or not affiliated. Shabbos belongs to the entire Jewish people. This is a Jewish unity project, and that was the byline of it all, is keeping it together, that it belongs to each and every single person.
When I think about that Havdalah concert, there was really a feeling that we had done it, that we had done a huge thing. It can be done.
What was amazing was at the Havdalah concert, the stories then started to pour in, that people just had the most inspiring, uplifting, wonderful day. This thing became so much more than we could ever have predicted in our wildest dreams, and it was the power of that experience of what a real Shabbos is about that just electrified the entire community.
The big question after the Shabbos project is, where are we going in the future with the Shabbos project? What are we doing next year with the Shabbos project?
There has to be a next step. because the kind of response from right across the world, from every kind of Jew imaginable, from all across the spectrum, from the most observant to the least, and religious, secular, doesn't matter, from all different countries around the world, the outpouring has been so powerful. They were writing to me to say, well, how can we also have a Shabbos project? Can't turn away from that. And so the next step is, in the same way we had a Shabbos project for South Africa, let us all together make a Shabbos project for the entire Jewish world. One Shabbos for the entire Jewish world all together. That's the vision, that's the way forward, that's what we have to do now, because there's such a powerful, warm response, and there's a social movement that is already starting to develop in countries across the world. And so instead of fragmenting it and different places trying a different Shabbos project on a different week, we're going to do this all one weekend, one Shabbos, one Jewish people, one Shabbos project all together with this incredible, powerful energy. The magic of what everybody has seen happen in South Africa, that can happen across the Jewish world.
Do it. Don't even hesitate. Just do it.
There couldn't be a better opportunity. And yeah, I think buy in.
I can't wait for the next Shabbos project.
Just give us a little bit of warning.
Let's change the world together.